Awesome. Welcome back to another Forged Not Born episode. Today I have Ben with me, bodybuilder, coach, dad, husband.
No, not married yet.
Not married yet. I thought I'd double check that. But yeah, so we're going to talk about his journey and everything like that. And something we were just talking about now is the value perception of things as well, which was quite interesting just off air. But for the people who maybe don't know you, Ben, why don't you give a brief introduction to yourself? How you've come to be in the position you are now, and how you got into bodybuilding as well, mate, and coaching.
Right. So I've been coaching for about 13 years. Started off as a PT, and then online coaching obviously came a bigger thing. I'm mostly doing online coaching now. Still doing a few PT sessions at my garage gym, which I enjoy doing. So I do a bit of both. First competed when I was 32, so that were 10 years ago. Became pro in that first year. Only competed with the WNBF as a novice. Went to America, got my pro card there. Competed again in 2019 for the BNBF and the UK DFBA. Did well at the BNBF, so it was the DFAC Pro Grand Prix. David Kay won, so every time I competed with BNBF, David Kay was competing, which were unfortunate. But that year for the UK DFBA, I got my pro card as well. Went to America for the WNBF because they were affiliated with the WNBF. Then was the UK FBA. I think I come sixth in the world final. So it was a bit of an anticlimax because normally the winner of that pro card does well in America, but I think I faded a little bit towards the end, as they say, just dieted a little bit too much. Competed
Happens.
again in 2022. Was all right. Competed for the UK FBA, won a European show. The standard wasn't great, so I went for the Natural Olympia that year, come second, so a bit gutted about that, but still happy because I thought second were really good. And then at WNBF Worlds came third out of four, so there weren't that many in the heavyweight category that year. Third out of five, sorry, third out of fifth, so kind of not happy with that. So I did my last prep in 2024, and that would probably be the best one so far. Managed to win the Olympia. That was the highlight of it, the Natural Olympia. Went for the WNBF Worlds a week after, come second in the heavyweight category, which I'm a bit gutted at because the guy that won it, Sam Hartman, I beat him about 3 weeks before. And there were a good chance of winning that because Barder, it was in that heavyweight category, and you saw his name on the list and just thought, well, we're all going for second here, second or third, and he must have come about fifth. So he left the door open for one of us to win. Brewski, a German guy, young guy, he would have just won it. Well, I'd say he would have won everything because Babacar was in that show. That would have been a close one between them two. But in all the other shows that he did, that Julian won. And in that German show, the qualifier for Worlds, I said to you, you're going to have to stop now, you just keep winning. He said, yeah, this is my last show. And I'm like, oh. So he didn't do WNBF Worlds. So that was me competitive seasons. I were due to compete again this year, but I've had a few injuries, which has just held me back. So I'm not competing. I'm just focusing mostly on coaching. That's it.
Awesome, man. So, for some of the people who might not be aware of the Natural Olympia and how you get to that stage, how would you describe like the pathway getting there and the level that is compared to maybe something like either the DFAC or the WNBF and things like that?
So there's different levels, isn't there? And I don't really want to talk too much about the different levels. I've run a podcast before, and I think you'll upset people if you say one federation's better than the others, really. But they're all good. I mean, any like world final, WNBF Worlds, the Olympia, DFAC World Finals, that was a good one that year. I didn't do that one, and I reckon that would have been a tough one. So they're all good. I mean, they're all like top quality. And to win it, obviously, I were really happy with that. The actual stage isn't that good at the Olympia, so I think they need to improve that. So you always want to look back on pictures on stage, and they were never that good, really. Just my best pictures were off the stage, and it would have been good to just have loads of good quality pictures from that show.
Mm.
But yeah, obviously they're all got different links to them finals. All the different federations in the UK are linked, and there's been like chopping and changing and things like that. For the Olympia, I'm not sure there's any UK affiliates to get to the Olympia at the minute. I'm not sure. But I know like the WNBF UK is the link to the WNBF Worlds. And obviously the BNBF is linked to the DFAC World Finals. So yeah, there's them three main federations, but there's others, isn't there now? There's PCAs, there's two bros, there's lots of options out there.
Yeah, well, we've even got the NPC Naturals in America now as well. That's growing quite considerably by the looks of it. I mean, what was your experience of competing in the States?
It's always been good. It's always a risky place to finish a diet because the food's amazing. But yeah, good. I mean, obviously that was the highlight, actually winning that Olympia, coming second the time before it and winning it. I went for the Masters category as well, so I won it as a Master, and I only entered that at the last minute. I was queuing up, and someone called Ali Stewart, who was with the Team UK as well. He said, "Are you doing the Masters?" I'm like, can I do two? And they were like, yeah. I've just turned 40, so I thought, oh, got a good chance of winning that, because normally it's like the young master, the young 40-year-old that probably might look better. So won that, and then obviously went for the Olympia. But yeah, just a good experience. I remember one year, it was 2022. It was I think it was Vegas and then California. So it was just a road trip. I went with someone called Jay McGee, who does men's physique. That was a great experience, just a road trip across America. So yeah, just a good place to go. I'd like to go on holiday, because every time I've been to America, I'm like dieting and just suffering, just like a bit of sightseeing.
Yeah, one of the worst places that has the best food possible, right? It's like a cocktail of like torture.
Oh, so but yeah, I always struggle post show anyway, and I always probably over diet a little bit, so I'm absolutely starving at the end of it. And I remember in Boston, where I finished last time, researching all the places that I were going to go to, and I booked myself like 4 days extra, so I didn't fly home. I just thought, well, I should have just flew home really, so I were around people. I would just kind of do my own thing, and just holding back from like stuff in my face. So I find it really hard to, that hunger, it just takes ages, doesn't it, to subside. It's one of the hardest things of prep, actually. It's not like you finish the prep and now I feel better. It's 3 months at least until that hunger starts to subside, which is pretty brutal, really. But yeah, some good quality food, found some good places, and but to be honest, anything tasted good at that point. I mean, I would have gone to anywhere and it would have been amazing. So yeah, a great
Very
experience.
true. Very true. Do you think that's talked about enough? The post like show hunger and the post show struggling, because I've experienced that both when I competed in 2016 and definitely in 2024 more so, where as a natural I just felt like it took me 3 months to even feel like back to me again. And my experience was pretty brutal. I reversed out initially very, very well over the month, but then over Christmas and by the time Feb come, I was burnt out. I dived straight back into training, didn't give myself enough time to recover hormonally. Like physically, I was okay, but like hormonally, there's just such a bigger lag, right? It takes longer for that to come round. So, what's your experience and thoughts behind this?
It's been extremely tough, to be honest, and it's not really spoke about too much. And I always just think other people handle it better. I see people that are still really lean a few months after the show, and I'm always trying my best to not like put on too much weight quickly. The last one was the best one, definitely, because I kept my coach in that recovery diet phase, because normally I'd just go completely off the rails. And I remember I were set about 4,800 calories, and it just wasn't enough. I could have eaten 30,000, but I were hitting it. But I were counting down the days until I felt better. I was like, oh my God, I'm still not
Mm.
feeling better. You gain all the weight, the look doesn't look good. And it's just it's pretty brutal, actually. It's not spoke about, but I remember first prep that I did, if I didn't do well, I probably wouldn't have done it again, because I did well. I thought, well, I've got to compete again, because come pro, world champion, really good. But
Mm.
I literally I didn't train for about 3 months after it. I just thought, I'm sick of it. I've fallen out of love of training. I gained 20 odd kilogram in 5 weeks. and I was going to go to doctors. I was going to like, what is going on? I've gained all this weight. I'm starving still, but then it slowly started to subside. But yeah, I
Mm.
really struggle. I think some people are better at it than others. I struggle with post-show. It's one of the reasons why I'm kind of relieved I'm not competing this year. Done it 4 times. Post-show. I remember actually 2022 come back, walked through the door, and Brogan's like, "What's up?" I'm like, "What?" All my face was swollen up, and I'd just been binging all the way home,
Yeah,
and
puffy,
got like
puffy, right?
really puffy. She's like, I just thought, flipping heck. So it is a scary period. You've been so focused, so disciplined, and then, as they say, that goal's gone, and it's hard to then show restraint on the diet to not gain too much weight quickly, because you just think, flipping heck, I've been suffering for the last 3-4 months, really hungry, craving food. And then when it comes, you've got to accept that regardless of how much you eat, you're still going to feel like crap, because I've done it. I've literally bottomless pit, eat, and it's like, oh my God, I'm starving. It's not helping. So it is, it's tough.
How do you preach that? Obviously, having gone through that yourself, how do you then preach and coach that towards your clients and athletes now?
It's tough. Well, I can certainly relate to it, and I suppose different personalities handle it differently. I've had a few clients that have probably handled it better than me. Actually, they seem to recover a little bit quicker. They're not telling me they're starving. I don't know whether it's mental for me, but I really get hungry. Something that I used to track with my clients was hunger out of 10. And some of them like were very lean and only giving it 7 and 8. I'm like, flipping it, mine were a 10. Every day I was struggling. Um, so yeah, like I say, it's good that I've related to it. So it's all mapped out on the coaching sheets. The recovery diet will gain this much weight in this much time. We'll try and stay in line with that. And then just keep saying to them, you will start feeling better. So yeah, I think just the
Mm.
experience helps a little bit.
Yeah, that relatability as coaches that have been through that, especially when they push their body to the limits like you have, I don't think there's really a higher standard you can do that naturally, in my experience, Ben, just being truthful. Like, there is no higher levels you could push your body to conditioning wise than aiming to be on the world championship stages of different federations. Like, it doesn't get any more scrupulous and minute than that, does it?
You've got to literally be fat free. I mean, especially if you're not the biggest, you don't want to compete and think, well, I didn't get lean enough there. So, and a few people have got that mindset, and they probably go a little bit too far. And yeah, that elite level, everyone's suffering a little bit. You ask anyone, are you hungry? They're like, yeah. And there were a bodybuilder that competed actually at WNBF Worlds, a young bodybuilder, is it called Ramon. I think
Okay.
he's retired now. He's really Instagram famous, got like 400,000 followers, and he said he's not doing it again. He's only young, so he might do, but I think he must have found it traumatic as well. And I was listening to a podcast with him, and he was saying the same thing as me. It's the recovery after it that just takes ages. That he just wants to be healthy, and he probably just he don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah, some good points there, right, as well. And this is why we don't see natural athletes competing every single year, right? Because it's just it's not healthy to do so. You can't build the amount of muscle required in the short period of time and recover from a prep. I do think you touched on some points actually that I do think there's some valid conversations to be had about people's low set naturally being like leaner, so they actually don't struggle as much. This is definitely something I've struggled with. I mean, I'm sat about 108 kilos now, and like when I competed, I was down to like 88. And I just know that like getting that much weight off me at a prep is brutal. So the next time I start, I'll be stepping it definitely a lot leaner. And I think this takes time going round every single time. You competed for the first time at, was it 32, 33?
32, yeah.
Yeah, like talk to me what it's like competing like that. Because I mean, I competed back when I was a little bit younger, 2016. But I look at that, I did NABBA, but I made, to be honest, it was more like a photo shoot, like prep, than it was a proper prep. Mate, I was not lean enough. But then when I did it properly for the first time in 2024, I was in my 30s as well, and doing that, like actually getting properly lean for the first time with that. I felt that was pretty hard, like doing it for the first time. I don't think there's a harder time than your first time, is there?
Yeah, it was tough. And I were lean to start with, so there were no off season. It were basically just do a prep. I've spoke about this with other people that I was struggling business wise. I didn't know how to get results with people. So one of the main drivers was to do a diet myself so I can help others. And my coach at the time, Ant Sidrick, he was doing his prep. He did his prep the year before for the BNBF, and he won like the overall for the BNBF Southern, and he documented it all on YouTube, and it was really like intriguing at the time about flexible dieting, and he was eating like crisps and sweets, and I just thought, this goes against what I know about diets. It's not what I'm telling my clients. I'm not
Mm.
getting results with clients. I'm telling them just to eat clean. So really eye-opening experience that I contacted Ant. He was my coach, wanted to learn about diets. He gave me macros to hit, didn't give me a meal plan. And I'm a bit like, oh, where's my meal plan? He just said, eat what you want as long as you hit those macros. That's how I learned about diets, and I just thought this is amazing. And I went pretty I went full on with a flexible dieting. How much junk food can I get in there? But it worked ultimately. I remember about to go on stage, I was eating some Chewits, and people are away like, "What you doing? We're not competed yet." And I'm like, "I'm just following orders." He's told me to have like 80 gram of carbs in sweets before I go on. I thought, flipping out, there's something to this really. But yeah, the actual prep was tough, and it just got so lean myself. I think a lot of people's first prep is probably the most brutal. They make the most mistakes, but then that's what's addictive. You make the mistakes, you think, well, I'm not going to make that mistake next time. I'm going to do better. Which the mistake that I made, I think, with the Olympia win, which obviously was a good season. I had AJ in my corner, obviously a great coach, but I do think we started a little bit heavy, 104.5 kilogram, and I ended up being like 85.5. So that's a lot of weight to pull off. And right now I'm
Yeah.
sitting at around 93 kilogram. There's no, I'm a little bit diet fatigued. I've got a photo shoot on Friday. That's what I've booked for this year, but nowhere
Mm.
near as 93 kilogram on the way down for the Olympia. I was pretty much feeling it. So it's interesting. It's like, yeah, starting the prep lighter with no diet fatigue if possible. I think, sorry to keep going on, but with AJ, we did a pre-prep diet, and it was a long one. It was about 13, 14 weeks. And then we did a bit of a
Yeah.
gaining phase. I don't think I was recovered from that pre-prep diet by the time I did the diet. So again, you think, oh, I'll learn from that. I'll come in better. But the
Yeah.
injury that
It's
I've
all
had
data, right?
is all data. And I just think I was on course for having another good prep. I mean, off season were going well. I was stronger than I were before. I thought I'm going to improve again. But I've had
Mm.
possibly a slip disc. I've seen all sorts of people. The physio, a good physio, has finally said it's either a stress fracture in my back or a slip disc again, higher up. So it's just held me back with my training. So that's why I decided not to compete, because the training's not been as good as what I'd like.
Mate, that makes all complete sense, right? How did the injury come about, do you think?
It's hard to pinpoint it, but I did start playing football. It's been there for a long time, to be honest. I think from 2019 I had it, because I even videoed myself doing a sumo deadlift and something went in my back. Never had it diagnosed, but it's the same area here. But then more recently started
Yeah.
playing football again, and physio thinks it's that, just twisting, and went to do a step over. And I think it could have been that. At 42, your legs weren't as quick. Well, they're not
What
quick
what were
before.
what were you thinking, Ben? What were you thinking with the step
Well,
over?
I thought, well, yeah, I'll just give him a step over. And I did. I pulled something higher up, and I had to go in nets. I played, I think, about 8 games, and about 5 of them I had to go in nets. So I just picked up an injury.
Happens, right? Happens. I mean, I was on my stag do in March, and I tweaked something in my wrist, just from doing like axe throwing and batting cage. Right? It was nothing silly. Very responsible stag do. Like, no, I wasn't tossing anyone. I wasn't getting thrown around or anything mad like that. But I woke up and I was like, oh, my shoulder, my trap feels a little bit like weird. And then as the weeks go on, I feel like as I supinate inwards, like, so for me at the moment, I can only bicep curl like 6 kg. And it's been like 3 months, and I'm like, this is gonna take a while to recover with this. But in the meantime, you just have to adapt around it, don't you, as best as possible. But I can understand you being in that position where you are now. The standard and the prep and the training, everything required just kind of goes up another level. So I can understand, like, yeah, you wouldn't want to do that to yourself if things, I don't want to say aligned, but definitely if you feel like you're in the best position to do it, right?
Hmm. I've said that. I say if I didn't have the thought of competing, I wouldn't train that hard. I think when you know you're competing, you absolutely bury yourself and you always run the risk of getting injured. I think that's what happened. I mean, this injury, again, was there at the start of my prep. And I remember thinking, I've got to say to AJ that I need a week or two off, but I just never said it. I just thought, no, I've just got to keep training. And it's that level of training when you know you're competing that it pushes you to the edge, really. You just, you push, to failure all the time. And run the risk of getting injured. So it's hard to pull back a little bit, really.
Yeah, that push pull, right? That balance. In your training ethos, then, are you someone that trains to failure on every single set, or do you leave a couple of reps in reserve? Are you kind of like close to it? Where's your head at with that at the moment?
It were always the absolute failure, literally squat till I drop. But more recently, because I decided not to compete, I have been leaving like a rep or two. I've not been hitting the floor on pendulum squats, hack squats, whereas before, literally all the time, even leg press just comes back down on you. So definitely like train to failure. It's just the way that I've always done it. But yeah, just not doing it as much these days, I'd say.
Yeah, 'cause you're interesting because you'll see a lot of to and back on that, especially these days with people will say the more like science based or evidence based people will say you don't need to do this all the time or take it to failure every time. Especially with me, I think it comes down to the individual in front of you. How confident are they? What's their skill like? Someone like yourself, is how long have you been training now for, Ben?
About 25 years.
Yeah, so when you want to take a movement to failure, right, you know how to take it to failure. There's a risk versus reward on every single set like that, isn't there?
Yeah, and we know what failure is, don't we? I mean, we know that going down on the hack squat, the leg press coming back down on you is muscle failure. So you're still
Yeah,
gonna get a
yeah,
benefit from not taking it there.
yeah, absolutely. Like the only thing that I would say, never taken to absolute failure is probably an RDL. Like I've had it before, I've had to drop it. I've had it before where I've gone for a rep and said, "Fuck no, I'm not doing that." And that's purely because for me, there's always been a little bit of a weakness in my back or my core. Being 6'4", like that, if I pull that out, everything starts going to shit. My hip realigns, everything starts going. So like when I weigh up that risk versus reward, that last set, mate, you know when you're doing the shake and dance, right, and your hips are going up, down, trying to get that last rep in, right? I know for me that's the last one, and if I feel like really going for it, I'll take it every so often. But the risk versus reward for me is like if I put myself out for 6 weeks, I'm going to stop myself from progressing this movement further. And even more recently, I found that if I rotate this week on, week off, I can make more progress and my SI hip joint doesn't get as pissed off. So I think that's a sign more about being more patient long term and taking the progress over a longer period of time and not trying to rush that progression. What's your thoughts?
He's probably right. I mean, like just leaving that rep. Obviously, you know yourself, if you go for it, you get injured. So just training hard is probably not the answer all the time. Training smart. And again, you reflect on the prep. Never used to do deloads or anything like that. I always just think, should I have done some deloads? Would my physique look fresher? There's always like things that you could try. I've got a client at the minute. He's a strength and conditioning professor, so he knows his stuff, and he'll tell me I need a
Mm.
deload now. I'm like, right, fair enough. But I just kept training, which potentially, maybe I should have had some deloads. Yeah, so it's something that I'd be interested to try anyway.
Yeah. Do you think you'll use a lot more of these tools moving forwards?
Um, yeah, I mean, like you say, there's not many tools, is there? It's just basically you could have the deloads, you might not. You train to failure. I'll always train hard, but as I've got a bit older, I'm doing less volume now. So I remember doing like 5 sets of squats in 2019. I had a good physique, but now it's just less and less as I get older. But the quality of the sets, I'd say, are better. And that'd be a good. The ultimate test is how you look on stage. So you try these different things. This is a really low volume approach that I'm doing now, but I won't be able to see it because I'm not competing. But the way I'm looking is good. I'm getting away with the workouts I'm doing now are just like 15, 20 minutes upper body sessions, and it seems to be working. But again, I suppose the ultimate test is how you look on stage, the places and things like that. So it's always a constant experiment.
Yeah, that is a very good point there, right? It is one big experiment with it. And also, I'm going to say this again, and I said this the other week as well. Like, no one cares how much you bench press when you're on stage, right?
No, so it's not a strength contest, is it really? If it was, I'd be pretty low on that. Um, Flipping
Yeah,
heck.
me too, mate. Me too.
Yeah, so it's not the weight that you lift, really. I mean, it certainly helps, but if it's just relative to yourself, if you're progressing your lifts, then, it's obviously going to show. I mean, I compete against David Kay, who does 220 deadlift for 20 reps. It's just crazy. I mean, I flipping it. Well,
Strong dude.
mine would have to be about 160 to get 20, and that's with a sumo stance as well. So, yeah, there's just, I mean, that does show on his physique as well. So it's not just like strength; it actually shows on his physique. But
No, no,
yeah,
no. I definitely agree there, mate. I think some people, and you just know straight away, and I'm sure you have like friends either in the industry or people that you grew up with, right? That you're just like, how fucking strong are you? You're just naturally strong. And I don't know, like, and no amount of like work or effort you do your side is ever going to potentially be able to catch up to those certain individual that might just be built for bench pressing. Say, for example, like I'm not built for bench pressing. I don't have super wide shoulders and I've got really long arms, and my sternum angle isn't the best. It's okay, but it's not like super angled off or super shallow. And I just look at some people and I see some of these 16, 17, 18 year olds, and they're doing 3 and 4 plates on the bench for reps, for good reps as well. And I'm just like, I've never been able to do that, no matter how hard or how consistent I've worked or how much recovery and nutrition I've got into. And I think strength is very relative to the individual, but your progress long term in your physique development is wholly in charge. You're in charge of that. No one else is in charge of that. You are, and that progress is able and be there to take. And because the whole, I'm sure you hear it as well, maybe in conversations on the DMs or wherever, where people are talking about, oh, my genetics or my genetic ceiling and things like that. Like, what's your thoughts on that?
well, you'll never know if you've reached your genetic ceiling, really, will you? Again, you can tick the boxes. You can do preps which are pretty close to perfect, but I don't think you'll ever do a perfect prep. So I don't think you'll ever get there. Really, it's control it also. It's not just training hard, dieting hard. It's away from the training, which is harder for me as well. Now with 2 kids, I remember thinking when I first did my prep, I was single. I had no kids. The stress level was
Mm.
low. My sleep were much better. So there were things happening with the last prep, which are different challenges. And I remember just thinking, if I were to prep again, it'd be good to book a B&B just by myself somewhere, just so I can just focus and just chill. So I do think my stress was high with last one. I were in my aura ring all the time. He kept telling me I was stressed. So again, that
Right,
brought it.
I've got an image of you in a cabin, right, doing a Rambo or Rocky cut scene, mate, for the cut or something. Is that like your idea peak? Yeah.
Well, flipping out. I don't know. Like I say, it's almost a personality change for me at the end. I get hungry, I get irritable. So it's all these things which tells me I shouldn't really prep, really. And there's lots of it, which is tough. Obviously, it's rewarding, but yeah, just I like to be by myself, and just imagine just being a single guy might be a bit easier doing a prep, because it was a bit easier on the first one.
Mate, no doubt whatsoever there. So if you competed at 33, were you a coach then? Like when you first competed, how long were you a coach when you first stepped on stage?
So I was a PT for a good 4 years, and I'll close this actually. It's boiling.
Yeah, that's fine, mate. Yeah, yeah. We've
For a
read
good
this.
I'll open it actually. You can hardly see me. Yeah, PT for about 4 years, and yeah, like I say, we're getting me down the lack of results. I probably started before I was ready. I got the garage gym set up, and I didn't have people's plans ready. Diet plans, training plans. Did the PT course, which didn't really teach you much. It just kind of led you to believe that certain foods are good for fat loss and things like that. And the gym was
Hmm.
ready. I wasn't ready, and I'm only charging £10 a PT session. 10
And this
10
was
session.
when?
This was in 2016. No, that was 20. Well, when I first started, actually 2012 probably. So, and it were 10 sessions for 90 quid. And I'm happy with that. I thought, for minute, it's well good. But I was so busy, doing the job, unable to learn and help people. And then it was just getting me down because there were other coaches in town getting before and afters, and I just thought, I've not got a before and after, and I don't actually know how to get a before and after with someone. So, like I say, that was one of the biggest drivers. I were losing clients, not getting results, felt bad. I just thought, well, I'm going to compete, learn about it. And then as soon as I learned about it, I thought, flipping it, everyone needs to know this. And then, yeah, you start getting results, and then people trust it a bit more. But yeah, I think competing with the stepping stone, I think it's good to do it first to really learn about diet, and then you can help others.
Yeah, I do think that every coach, and this is where I think I probably agree with like the UP method and stuff like that, because they have a certain standard within their coaches, right? Their coaching philosophy is that most of them, as soon as they come in, will do some form of photo shoot to go through that experience, so they know what it's like to at least diet to. And let's face it, Ben, like not everyone's trying to get absolute dick skin lean like us, right? Like I would say a small percentage of the population will ever get there, right? So even if you got people down to like, I don't know, 10%, 11, 9%, how many people do you know that would be really happy with that?
Yeah, a lot. And when you say UP, is that the personal training studio thing? What's it called? Ultimate
Yeah,
Performance.
ultimate performance, yeah.
I went for
Yeah,
a
yeah.
job interview there in Manchester, and didn't get it. And that was after I become a pro. And that's where I was saying to them, flexible dieting is great. And I don't think they liked it. I was like, yo, you can eat sweets, you can eat chocolate. Then one of them were like, oh, what about inflammation? I was like, it's fine, you can still eat it. But anyway, that's a side topic. Yeah, but not many. A
No,
lot of
mate,
people.
that's the you could absolutely do go into that, mate. Like
Yeah.
that's
Well,
because they
like,
have a set system and way of doing things, don't they? Like they're very systemized. Like speaking to the people that have worked there for a serious amount of time or done quite well there in any form whatsoever, they are very much like dov 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 dov. But they get very good at doing transformations before and afters. But how many people do you know that have been through a UP that have gone and then built a shitload of muscle in a transformation and come back round again? They don't really do that, from what I understand. They are transformation specialists.
obviously they're good. Don't get me wrong, they're really good. Get some really good results. But because I just went for a failed interview there, so I'm kind of glad I've done my own thing. Really, it's um, going quite well
Yeah,
at the
man. Wouldn't be
minute.
where you
Getting
are now,
some,
right?
yeah. So like I say, it's all kind of worked out. Getting some really good results with people. Got a good system built, and yeah, so I'm happy with it.
Hindsight's one of those things, Ben, when you're like, oh, that it kind of makes sense. If I hadn't gone there and like done this, then I wouldn't be where I am now. If I haven't gone through this, then I wouldn't be who I am right now. And I do have a funny way of like the universe is teaching you a lesson. You're exactly where you're supposed to be right now to learn the lesson before you move on and do the next step or do the next thing. And a lot of time, like yeah, doing hard shit like that is it's inspiring, it's motivating for your clients, but then also you learn a lot more, right? Where you start throwing yourself in the deep end.
Mm. Well, I tried getting out of being a PT as well. So in them early years, because it were getting me down, or applying for police, didn't get in police twice. We're thinking about doing a physio course, but like I say, it's all things which I'm glad I didn't get in, because it's actually worked out. But it didn't take until about 6 years being a PT to actually call it a job. Literally, I were lucky that I wasn't paying any board. I were getting like, just living at home. I think,
Hmm.
yeah, it wasn't enough to call a career, but just had to stick with it. And then all of a sudden, after 6 years, finally got, a bit of a wage out of it.
Back in those early years, especially as soon as you get your qualification, your level 2, your level 3, and you go see you later, how did you feel the level of support that was out there for personal trainers?
Um, well, I just think the course didn't really teach us much. It's almost like learning how to drive. Obviously, you learn how to drive, but you drive differently, as all this mirror signal. Probably should do that all the way through, but I just thought it teaches you stuff that you probably don't need to know. And there was something not right with the course as well. Like the instructor was overweight. There were people eating all the healthy foods. I had a bag of crisps and I was really lean. I thought there's something not right here, not all the info. So the course is good. It teaches you about like exercises, and being a PT is good for like interacting with people. But I suppose, like I say, there's just some false info. I couldn't believe it. I did the course, and then I got a coach that just flipped everything on its head. I was just like, well, this isn't what I learned. That I can have chocolate, I can have sweets within reason. That it's all a numbers game. So yeah, so I think it's probably different now. The courses and the knowledge out there is different, but
I'm not
yeah,
sure it is, mate. I'm not sure it is. I think they're still operating on extremely outdated syllabus, and I don't think that they teach enough variations of ways to get there because you're 100% right. You can get dick skin lean eating Mars bars. Like, you can do it if you want. If it fits in your macros, you're good. Like, are there some potential long-term ramifications? Yes, there is, and that's where balance and moderation comes into it, right? But there's more than one way to skin a cat. I hate that phrase, but it's no better way to say it than that, right? Is that you have like flexible diet, you have if it fits in your macros, you have tracking, you have meal guides. Hell, some of the guys at Team 3D, right? They don't even track anything; they just operate on feeling, don't they?
yeah. Alberto, he was my coach in 2022, actually, so it was good getting his input on things. But yeah, all sorts of ways. I personally try and implement a bit of both. So, because I'm a flexible dieter, but I do keep people a meal plan. I always say to them, these are your macros. This is how you can hit them with the food preferences that you've told me. And I'll give them 2, 3, 4 meal plans, and I'll keep giving them that. But I want them to not stick to the meal plan. I'll say to them, you can just stick to this all the time, but I want you to learn about food. I want you to learn how to hit your numbers but with not this, what do you do if you've not got your
Mm,
food on you? Do you know what to do if you're going into Tesco and you're going to grab something? So I always like to give them that meal plan. And like I say, some people just want to stick to it. But I found that they get good results. They do, but not as good as having that skill. I call it a skilled dieter. Do you know how to be flexible? You can stick to the meal plan, but do you know how to mix it up if need be? So that's the system I like to use with my clients. Show them flexible, and I sometimes ask them on the call, like, if you to go off track, what would you have for the? Oh, I'm a bit bad for biscuits and things like that. On one of the meal plans, I'll put the biscuits in there to show them. So those are the type of clients I like, really. People that don't really know much, and obviously I've got people that compete as well. They know all about that, so I won't really push that onto them. But I just find
mm.
I think it's good when people are like me that think that it's certain foods and it's like, no, it's not. You can still have, I used to have sweets before bed and I used to, during my prep. And previously, if I'd done that, I thought I'd blown it. I'm off track here. It has to be salads, which it were for years. I was eating salads, eating all sorts, eating clean, hoping for the best. It was in good shape. But then once I learned that it's just basically numbers, yeah, physique improved.
Yeah, well, I think that could potentially then tie into a lot of like your stress and your methodology about, and if you feel too overly restricted, it amplifies the way that you potentially feel on that, and that will just like kill a lot of, I want to say momentum, but also like if you feel too overly restricted, the data is really clear on that. Is that you rebound harder, and you don't end up with a better long-term body composition, exactly like where you are right now, Ben. By the sounds of it, where your body comp is like the best it's ever been, with the most amount of muscle and the leanest you've ever been. By the sounds of it.
Doing all right, yeah. Like I say, I've just reached my set point really because I'm naturally a lean person. Before I competed, I'd say we're ectomorphic, very lean, and then the process of
Mm,
dieting and bulking just kind of turned me into a bigger person. But now, because I've not done a proper diet for a while, obviously I rebounded up as you do, and just let my body weight come down to its set point with this photo shoot in mind as well. So there is a bit of diet fatigue there. I'm looking forward to Friday actually, just eating a bit more normally, but. Yeah, I'd say
mm.
lean at the minute and a good weight.
Yeah, perfect, man. I think what you touched on there around educating your clients as well, like about like I would call it nutrition proficiency, right? Of like, hey, if shit hits the fan and you don't have your food with you, what are you doing? Like, do you actually understand what to choose? Like, if it's I don't know 1 o'clock at night and you're driving home and the only place you got open is Tesco or Mackey's, like, do you know what to choose? Like to keep yourself on plan and keep yourself going and not bite the bullet, so to speak, and fuck everything up.
Yeah, because like I say, I've had people that have come from other coaches, and you can tell they've had another coach that's meal plan, all meal plan. It's got to be a meal plan. I'm like, fair enough. Here's your meal plan, but I don't want you to stick to it because I want you to learn that. Because, like I say, I remember just one client springs to mind. That same thing. I've not got my food on me, so I just went off track. I didn't know what to do. I'm like, oh, I want you to like track your diet, get used to doing that. I hate it now tracking my diet. I always say to people, I've done all that. My first 2 preps, flexible every day were different, loved it. The last two have just been meal plan because I don't know, the thought of just like tracking it all the time, but the process of going through the flexible and trying loads of different combinations has led me to what I know I like. It's like, well, I could mix it up, but I know I like this. It's simple. I like it. It's protein oats, basically, which I have on repeat.
Yeah.
It's just an amazing meal.
Yeah. Were you having it with was it your daughter the other day?
Yeah, she likes it as well. But yeah, I'll have it probably 3 times a day at the minute. I have 4 meals a day at the minute. 3 of them are protein oats. And during my prep, I think I had 5 meals, 4 of them were protein oats. So I'm a big fan of it.
That is like, have you watched The Matrix?
But yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you know, like the scene where they're sat down and the guy's like, it's got nutrition, it's got everything you need in it. And the guy's looking at like, this isn't real food. I imagine that's how someone would comment on you and be like, if you love it and it works for you, fucking do it. Like, knock yourself out.
It's amazing. I mean, I remember the first time I tried it, I remember saying to Ant, because he were having oats, because I used to always have it with milk, and he was like, I have it with water. And the first time I tried it, it was just the worst thing ever. But just slowly but surely, it's like my favourites. And during that prep in 2024, I had 15 different protein powders, which I could alternate between. So I was spending a fortune on protein powders. That was my thing that I did in evening, just researching protein powders. And I banished quite a few of them into the garage because I thought, well, I'm enjoying my prep. They're like 7 out of 10. I want it to be 10 out of 10. So I found some really good ones. And it's still like I say, my favorite meal now. I think it's perfect for dieting. It's quick. It satisfies the sweet tooth. It's high volume. It's brilliant.
Yeah, lots of pros to it. A little bit of fiber into that as well. You can't eat it too quickly. I've definitely like I have oats every morning as well. Very rarely will I alternate that around maybe for like like eggs and sourdough or a bagel or maybe some kind of like protein shake and cereal if I'm in a rush if we got a different type of day or if I'm running a little bit leaner. But that meal one for me is just sets me up for the day. It's got like dark chocolate, blueberries, a little bit of honey, chia seeds, flax seeds, oats, protein powder, and it's like thick and it's like for the calories that are in it, just absolutely hits the spot. I could easily run until lunch with no hunger signals coming off that when done properly. So when you find something that works for you, absolutely run with it. In my experience, it's like you just don't kill that momentum, right?
Exactly. So, like I say, it works. I like it. It's easy to prepare. I don't like cooking. Like I say, it's got to be ready quickly. Some of my clients will send me recipes and they'll tell me all the ingredients and oh, you put oven on, and I'm like, oh no, it's got to be ready. I don't know how to
Oven
turn it.
goes off.
I don't know how to
Swipe up
turn our
straight
oven
away.
on. Like I said to bro, I had to put a protein pizza in there the other day. I'm like, how do you turn this oven on? She's like, yeah. So yeah, I don't use it.
Well, at least she knows she's got the dominion and power over you on that. So she could be like, yeah, I'm the person that works the oven. You're like, all right, okay, calm down. Don't use that against me. Yeah. But that was also so from the age. Obviously, how did you get to the point with 33? You said you were coaching for a little bit. What were you doing before you become a coach? Because obviously, it sounds like you actually become a coach and competed quite. I say late on. For a natural, it's not late on, but for bodybuilding, that's quite late on, isn't it?
Yeah, it was late. Before I was a PT, I was working for a landscape gardener who lived across the road. So I was a ground worker, which I enjoyed. Did that for a couple of years, kept me fit. It were good. I enjoyed it. £45 a day at the time. And managed to bart it up to 60. Enjoyed it because before that, I was unemployed for a long time. So I've actually put this on YouTube recently. I only got about 60 views on it, but might as well share it
Who
again.
cares?
Yeah, so before I was a PT, before that, in a bit of a bad spot, really. I graduated from uni, struggled to get work after it, bit of a downward spiral, in particular with cannabis. I were very, I'd say, hooked on that for a good 10 years. And I weren't doing anything. I was just very lazy. I wasn't doing anything. I was just content with training, playing my computer games. Life were going nowhere quick. And so I needed a way out, and I were actually still addicted to cannabis when I was PT. And the prep just helped me come out of it. Didn't cure it completely, but it helped. Then I met Brogan, and then she got pregnant, and that's where I quit it completely. But that alone was the hardest thing I've ever done because I was hooked on it big time. But I wish I wasn't, because I wish I'd started everything when I were like early 20s. But as it were, I was just basically hibernating for a good 10 years, doing nothing, which is bad. I mean, I've got that addictive personality. Anything that I do, I'll get addicted to it. So I've just got to be really careful. I'll never touch it again because I know what I'm like. I'll be addicted. It's the same way alcohol. I remember swapping to alcohol for a year, and I probably got addicted to that then. So at the minute, it's just probably work and probably a bit too much caffeine that I have.
I mean, the way that's leveled down, though, mate, is substantially improved your quality of life. So I think you're doing a pretty good job, mate, overall. But yeah, it's funny you say that because it's a little bit more prevalent than you think, right? I've, without saying names, I know people that have problems with this as well that are in the fitness industry. I know that people struggle with this as well. The way I'd look at that, mate, is you just had to give everyone 10 years a head start before you jumped on stage, right?
But yeah, like I say, I mean, it was. I mean, I used to swear by it. I used to think in my head as well that cannabis was a enhancing drug, because I was always lean, and the workouts that I used to have, because I were always on it. I used to think I'm in the zone here. The mind to muscle connection is great. People are coming up to me all the time saying, "What steroids do you take?" And I'm like, I'll say to a select few that I don't take any, but I have a smoke now and again. This has made me like the way I am, but. I think I was lean all the time, and my mates that I used to smoke it with were all very, very lean. We're all like, I don't know, there's something behind it once you have it a lot that makes you lean. But the physique that I built after I quit it, my set weight is literally 12, 13 kilogram heavier than my set weight before. I was so thin when I were smoking, and I thought it were great. But as soon as I quit it, my physique has improved. So that was wrong. Um, I think from a hunger perspective, I mean, this is a wacky example. Anyone that smokes it a lot, as soon as you quit it, your appetite is gone completely for a good few weeks. I always just thought that'd be really good in combination with a prep, just to quit it so that your appetite's gone. But obviously, I'm not gonna do that experiment.
You can't advocate that. No, no,
No.
definitely not, mate. But what I find interesting, obviously, is effects on the body. It's effects on hormone pathways, the brain, chemistry, and other things like that. What did you graduate from university with, Ben?
It was physical activity, exercise, and health. It was similar to exercise science, but he wasn't in as many days. So I think the exercise science were like 4 days a week. Mine was 3, so I thought I'd go for that one. So I mean, I might.
What made you go for that?
My friends applied for it. So I were at Blackburn College. I remember missing like the application day. They were like, you got to apply for something. So I basically just applied for what my friends went for. So I went for the same course as them at college. So I would just literally just heads all over the place. Don't even know what courses I'm applying for. I would just go in with the flow, delaying making a decision on what I wanted to do, basically, because I didn't know. I just thought, flipping out, what am I going to? Wanted to be. I thought I could be a sportsman for a while because it's my dads were a sportsman, my brother were. Thought I was going to be a footballer. So I just thought, well, I'm not doing anything because I should be. It was bad, really. So yeah, I went the education route, graduated, but then kind of, struggled to get work after it. It was one of them degrees that didn't lead to like an obvious job, really.
Yeah, it's when you look at that pathway from like sports science, like there's only really a handful of ways to go, and all these people in all these universities are all gunning for the same jobs, and there's just not that many jobs for that out there. I know that a lot of people will kind of split in two ways. They'll either go down the physical therapy, physio route and go through that way in the rehab and the coaching and the strength and conditioning, or they tend to go off towards kind of like PhD, more like master's level science and applied, whether that's lab work, whether that's study work, exercise, like more in depth. But you don't hear of many jobs that really require that. And then when you look at personal training, you think of the difference degree, like 6 week course, right? That's a mad difference, not only the investment wise, but the time spent as well in for that. I went to college and did a year. I was on a scholarship for football actually, so I can kind of relate to that a little bit, Ben. Where I I was like trying to be the professional footballer. I was football mad as a kid. You know, growing up, I was writing to scouts and stuff in like Leicester and Nottingham and say, "Come watch me play." Like I want to make it and all the rest of it. I got a scholarship at Morton College, which was basically for Kettering Town at the time. They were in conference. Did a year that, and then just basically ended up quitting like halfway through because I just felt like it wasn't working out. Even though like I was most improved for the season, you know, if I'd have played my cards right, who knows, right? But that hindsight thing comes in again, right? But yeah, talk to me a little bit about you. Was it your brother and your dad? You say play football,
Played cricket. So
play
yeah,
cricket? Oh,
yeah, they both played for England.
wow.
Yeah, my dad played for England. My brother played for England. Me dad managed them as well. So you're not a cricket fan?
Not a huge cricket fan, mate. No, mostly football, mostly football, and even that nowadays, mate, I could barely. I don't know. I've watched the England game for the World Cup, man. That's probably about it at the moment. I used to be football bloody mad.
Mm.
Not anymore, man.
Yeah, I mean, I love cricket. I love football as well. I mean, my dad did he play? He played for Accrington, so he were good. So I just kind of had that expectation on me that, oh, I've got to be a sportsman as well. But I were never quite as good as them. But a bit like yourself, like I had a chance. If you kept going, it could have been differently. But you need a bit of luck. You need consistency. I think you need to be good, obviously, but you also need a bit of mental strength as well. And yeah, you need a lot. You need a lot of luck. But played football a little bit. Had trials at Accrington Stanley. Didn't quite get in. I'd played a pre-season friendly against Burnley when they was in like championship. So good game, good standard. But I missed three easy chances. I used to play up front, but I never used to score, which doesn't help. But I used to say I were like Emil Heskey. So just I'd flick it on, I'd push him out of way. But I had three easy chances. I mean, one was a ball over the top. It bounced. Keeper come out. I got there first. Headed it past him. Headed it wide. And then there was another chance. It fell to someone called Gary Roberts, who was a really good player. Ended up playing pro for Ipswich. You're only a young lad then. You're on his left foot, and I took it off him. Swung with my left foot, which is no good. Went wide. And there was another chance that I missed as well. I remember Sherman come up to me and said, "Oh, you could have got a contract there." And they had a good write up as well, saying I caught the eye. But
Oh,
that was the height for me. I mean, I used to look the part, but didn't used to play that well.
funny, right? How sometimes life and situations can change throughout that, but like I said, like would be where you are right now for everything. Do you think the sporting background, even with everything that went on, helped you when you come to the weightlifting and the training?
I'd say it has, yeah. So, like I say, just that expectation on myself from I don't know. I just thought I've got to be good at something, and that first prep, like I say, I didn't do anything wrong. Just fully stuck to it, and yeah, with this now, I think I've definitely got it in me. I think it's one of my dad's traits. He works hard. I definitely got that in me to get a bit obsessive with it. So I do think it helps with bodybuilding. I think it's different to cricket. It's very, I don't know, just do the same thing over and over. But I do think I've probably got some of me dad's traits in me, which has helped me with bodybuilding. But yeah, I mean, said to my dad he should get into it really, but he's nearly 80 now, so. But he used to
He's got those genetics, yeah.
I got it from my dad and obviously my mum. But I'd tell you who could have been the best bodybuilder, my brother, my oldest brother. But he's the one that played cricket for England. He's just frustratingly good at everything, but he doesn't try. But his physique, he's a bit shorter. He's stockier. His legs were massive, and he never used to train. So I just think out of all of us, he could have been the best bodybuilder. But he's like anti-exercise, hates it, just doesn't do anything. Way of looking at it, he used to get paid to train for cricket. I'm not doing it anymore because I've retired.
Yeah, that's a dangerous kind of like mindset trap to fall into, and you see a lot of ex-professionals do that, right? You know, when you see them on the commentary or something like that, and you're like, oh, you look like you've let yourself go a little bit, right? And it happens. It happens to you know the best of you throughout that. I think the biggest thing you need to remember is that your health and well-being has got to be a very high priority through your life, because if you want to live a good quality life and you want to live well, that's important.
talking to this man, Martin. Some tattoos. Ask mummy. Can you just go ask mummy? I'll be done in a second. Okay? Yeah. Give a hug. Thank you.
It's,
Thank you.
I love you.
I love you too.
No, don't
it's
say it.
Don't-
special guest.
Special guest. It's my daughter, 4-year-old Breya. She wants to put some fake tattoos on. Are you gonna go downstairs?
No.
Come on.
As long as they're fake, right?
Sorry about that.
Nah, awesome, man. No, you're all good, mate. I was with Opio on last week, and his little one come into the room as well. So like, when you're a family man and a dad, occupational hazard, right? It's absolutely
well,
fine, brother.
I thought now that she's 4, she wouldn't do that. I mean, back in the day, we would have definitely been just sat in my car doing this. But yeah. What were we saying? I forgot what we were saying.
No, we're talking about how you're extremely jealous of your brother's leg genetics more than anything, right?
Yeah, like I say, I think with because I've got 2 brothers, I think if one person does something, the other ones don't do it. Like I've got that identity, so they don't do it. But he could have done, but he were good at cricket.
Yeah, each to their own with that, man, which is good. So obviously, no, you're not prepping this year photo shoot, which I'm sure you will look absolutely fantastic for. Where can the people find you? If they are, are you on YouTube, Instagram, and then just tell us a little bit about what's coming up in the future.
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram, Ben Lloyd Fitness, on Facebook as well, Ben Lloyd Fitness, my YouTube, I think it's Ben Lloyd Fitness. I think it's all Ben Lloyd Fitness. So yeah, I've got a few videos on YouTube, but the main place is Instagram, if you want to find me. And in terms of the future, it's just basically coaching at the minute. That all my attention's going on coaching. I might compete again, definitely not this year, probably not next year, but I'm going to keep the door open by staying in shape.
That sounds absolutely awesome, man. Ben, it's been an absolute pleasure to have conversations, get to know you, to know a little bit about your journey, where you come from, what you've been through, and obviously you have an incredible physique and an incredible resume within natural bodybuilding. And yeah, until the next one, ladies and gents, peace out.